Hey, did you hear there's gonna be a brand new Acura Integra just like the DC2? Yeah, I did hear about that. I'm actually pretty excited about it, but I'm curious what it's gonna look like because they only gave us a headlight. Yeah, seriously, it's gonna look just like this. Unfortunately, I just think that's a very talented fan rendering their vision of the new Integra. I don't think that's what it's gonna look like. You're lying. The new Acura Integra is going to finally make a return after a very long time. I'm an Integra owner myself. I have a K20A swapped DC2 Integra that started its life as a LS Integra and then moved on to the swap and the paint job, and then everything escalated very quickly. But at the end of the day, it's a very fun car to drive, and it has pretty much the same tuning legacy as the Civics and the Supras and all that from Fast and Furious. Thanks, Jaw Rule. How's Fire Festival? With this new reveal photo, I guess you could say, of just the headlight, a lot of people wanted to hear my opinion about the brand new Integra. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts, my predictions, and that I think a lot of people are going to be pretty shocked when they see the real thing. Before we get into the nitty gritty about the new Acura Integra, I wanna thank today's sponsor, Titan. Are you ready to invest like a pro and build your long-term wealth, but not really sure where to start? Titan is an elite investment firm for the everyday investor, offering the best investment experience in the world in a way that's accessible to all income levels. You'll get courtside seats to award-winning strategies from US-based to international crypto assets. They built a mobile app and not an ETF or a mutual fund because it allows them to explain to you exactly what's happening and how they're managing your money. You'll get direct exposure to their investment manager via video content like Instagram stories. Titan's unique strategy has led them to outperform all major indexes and robo-advisors since inception. Titan also manages over $500 million for 25,000 clients and counting. With no fees on your gains, no lockups, no flat rate advisory fee, and record-shattering returns, it is no wonder Titan was named Top Advisor of the Year by the US News. All it takes is $100 to get started on your journey towards wealth and savvy investing. So get started today at titan.com/blue and get your first 3 months of expert investment management for 0 fees. That's titan.com/blue for 3 months free. Titan.com/blue. The very first time I drove an Integra, I had the absolute time of my life, and it was an F to B swap. Tons of fun, sounded amazing, and I always thought about owning one in the future. The Integra is a simple but fun platform and is a lot of the times a lot of car enthusiasts' first car. Just like I said before, Civics, Integra, stuff like that, they just resonate with people very well. Japan's finally back with sports cars. They're finally back in the game, which is fantastic. But what's the expectation of the Integra versus the reality? By the way, my contacts are on back order, so that's why I am wearing my glasses, so please bear with me, I am very blind. First things first, let's talk about the renderings. This is probably not the car, and it's unfortunate to say because it does look amazing. But this happened a ton with the Supra, if you guys remember. There's this white rendering I remember seeing all the time, like 10 years ago, when people kept saying, the Supra's coming, we promise. The Supra is coming, we promise, like over and over and over again. And then our expectations were subverted once again with the FT1 concept, which looked amazing. And honestly, if the Supra today was the FT1 of then, I probably would have saved up and got one, but it wasn't, unfortunately. But it subverted everybody's expectation, and that created some disappointment. And I think a lot of people need to take that into consideration with renderings like these. In a perfect world, this is the modernized version of the DC2. But I think I have a pretty solid prediction that might sound a little unorthodox about what the next Integra is going to be. Unlike the GR86, which a lot of people thought that the sequel to the FRS would be turbocharged, which honestly, I was shockingly surprised how fun that car was without the turbocharger. I think the new Integra is going to be turboed. I think the old days of a screaming VTEC NA engine are unfortunately over. And also with this picture, I think the grille is gonna be kind of the same design language as the Acura TLX Type S. So let's talk about the Civic Type R. I promise this all connects to the Integra. The Civic Type R is an amazing car. It fills a lot of people's needs. It checks everybody's boxes for the most part. It's 4 doors, it's fun, it's manual. And honestly, it's got incredible handling. It doesn't really feel that front wheel drive until you hit a bump or something. And it's very satisfying to be behind the wheel of this car. But the engine character doesn't feel like the old days, and that was pretty much my only complaint with the Civic Type R. It doesn't really feel very Honda-ish out of that engine, even though it's a very great engine. And the Civic Type R is a great platform, which is why I believe that Honda's gonna utilize the Civic Type R, and I 100% buy the fact that it's probably going to be Civic Type R based for the new Integra. I think it's gonna use the same engine. I think it might be a hatchback. I think it's gonna be basically a nicer Civic Type R. And I am still on the fence on if it's gonna be a 2-door coupe or a 4-door. And I would not be surprised, believe it or not, if the next Integra is 4 doors. And you're gonna call me crazy. I honestly think that might be the way it is because the market says that right now. The market says that Joe with his family and his child is not gonna buy a 2-door coupe when he can get the Civic Type R with 4 doors and be able to move things around and put his kids in the back and all that good stuff. And with Acura trying to sell as many cars as possible, we don't know what that means, and that could mean a 4-door Integra. Yes, they made a 4-door Integra, but you and I both know when you think of the word Integra, you think of the 2-door coupe. Almost every time, the DC2. Even with this spy shot, I'm still like, is that really the Integra? Is it? I just don't know. Nobody's confirmed it. So it's like, I hope it is, but I don't know if it's going to be. I think the car's placement in the market in the United States is gonna be Honda Civic Type R, or actually, you know what? Civic Si, obviously, then Type R, then Acura Integra Type S, then Acura TLX Type S. I don't think they're ever going to let the Integra be faster than that TLX Type S, because that TLX Type S is not a cheap car. There's no way they're gonna let the Integra be as fast. It's a lot like how Porsche for ages never made a fast version of the Cayman because they were probably scared as be just as good, if not better, than the 911. And then the GT4 came out and everybody loved it. I think it's gonna be 35 to 45. I think it's gonna be in that realm. If it's a $50,000 Integra, I just can't get behind that. I'm sorry. Even though it's an Acura and it's a luxury brand, if it is over 35 to 40, that is stretching it. And don't get me wrong, I think the new Nissan Z being 40K is a pretty big stretch as well. Starting, I feel like that's more of like a premium spec one, right? Cars are expensive nowadays. Do I believe the Integra is going to be a really great car? Absolutely. But now it's gonna have a lot more competition. Now it's gonna be up against the GR86, the Nissan Z, almost at 400Z again, the Supra, and even the Civic Type R as its own kind of sibling rivalry. If people buy the Civic Type R and they know that the Integra is just a little bit nicer of a version or a little bit faster of a version of the Civic Type R, a lot of people are just gonna say, I'll just go buy a Civic Type R and put bolt-ons on it, and there you go, there's my Integra. It's interesting to know where this is gonna go because I'm glad that they're bringing back the Integra nameplate, but we just don't know what this new interpretation of the Integra is going to be. Guys, those are my first predictions and impressions about the new Acura Integra. What do you guys think the Integra is going to be? Do you think it's gonna be a 2-door or a 4-door or a hatchback or a coupe? Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I love to hear it. And on that note, I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.